Okay, back at it.
In today's episode, we'll be covering the workouts.
Tonight, I enjoy a treadmill. Imagine more construction. Witness the first signs of spring and much more. Before getting too much into the specifics of the actual workouts, there's a couple of things that I think are important to sort of address. Number one, I live in Pittsburgh, which is in western Pennsylvania, and the weather here I would describe as loud. It snows a lot in the winter. Springtime is just chaotic. It's hot in the summers. It rains a lot. So a lot of my workouts are weather dependent if I'm going to be out in the trails. So I'm going to take advantage of these times when I have it. When I started back in February was I spent one full week of fixing up my diet, eating what I'm eating right now, essentially, getting enough protein, getting enough nutrients, getting enough of what my body needs. So I have really had a lot of motivation to drop weight. Now, in the process of this, nobody wants to lose muscle, and I've checked with my scale, smart scale that I've been using for a while, and it actually shows that I put on a pound of lean muscle mass while I've lost 37 pounds of overall body weight. Just incredible. So I'm gonna get back on the bike right now and we'll start going over the workouts. I don't live in a place where I can just ride from my front door. I've got to jump in the car for about 20 minutes. Here comes this tunnel again. This trail that I ride pretty frequently is called the Montour Trail. It goes from Coraopolis, Pennsylvania to Glassport. It almost meets up to the Gap Trail, or Great Allegheny Passage, which is a 150-mile trail going from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. Highly recommend it if you're in the area and you've got a week or so, you're looking for something to do. First thing I do at the gym is hop on a treadmill. I've been setting the incline to 6 or 7%, and then setting my speed to a pace that is just above my comfort level. Treadmills at my gym have a heart rate monitor, and I typically find myself about 70 to 75% of my max while I'm on the treadmill. I do 20 minutes, which ends up being about 1 mile, and I'm definitely sweating by the end of it. Really important to note that if you're on the treadmill or you're doing any kind of cardio at the gym, you should be breaking a sweat. And if you're not, consider increasing the speed, increasing the incline until you are working out hard enough to break a sweat. Treadmill done. I'm doing 4 different machines at the gym. I do a leg press, and mind you, I'm not recording a lot in the gym. I think that's kind of in bad form, but just enough to show a little bit of me and the machine that I'm doing. The leg press I've got to be kind of careful about. With the hernia, I don't want to make it worse. Definitely don't want to cause any kind of additional injury. So I'm keeping the weight relatively light. First set is the heaviest, not the heaviest amount that I can possibly do, but a weight that is, maybe I can do 12 reps. After that first set, I reduce the weight by about 20%, and then I do as many reps as I can until failure. Failure being defined as the point at which I can't do another rep without breaking form, or the muscles just hurt too much. My number one goal beyond anything else is not getting hurt. Meaning don't hurt a joint, don't overstress something, don't become so sore that I'll have to skip something the next day. I started off fairly slow in the beginning, and I've worked myself into a place where I'm pretty comfortable knowing what I can do. And again, any kind of stress on the joints, that's too much weight. It's just not worth it. Your knee joint elbow, that sort of thing. It takes so long to heal. It takes even longer when you get older. So I would much rather do weight that's a lot lighter and do more reps than risk injury with very heavy weights. Here I'm going to show you what my face looks like when I've gone to failure. Yeah, it hurts. It's temporary, but it's worth it. The reason I chose these 4 machines is because each one of them hits a number of muscle groups, not just a single muscle group. The next machine, seated row, gets a lot of your back, gets your arms, gets your grip, even into your shoulders a bit. I'm using machines because I do have a hernia. I don't want to risk that. And so I'm also, again, like the other machines, lighter on the weight and then going to failure. Sometimes I can do up to 20 reps before I hit failure. And the last thing is chest press. Again, it hits a lot of muscles, a lot of different things, hit your arms, your forearms. Again, my goal really is not to have some sort of bodybuilder physique, all that. I didn't complain about that, but the goal really is to maintain muscle mass and lose weight. And so far it's worked pretty well. So, and that's really it. That takes me about a half an hour to do those 4 machines, depending on how crowded the gym is. If there's a day where it's too crowded and I can't get like the chest press, I may do one of those lat pull downs or shoulder press. Let's mix it up a little bit. Again, I'm sticking with machines to reduce the amount of pressure on my abdomen. And after the surgery, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get started again. Probably have to make some adjustments for a while. I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So after that circuit of machine work, the last thing I do is 20 minutes on the exercise bike. A couple of reasons for this. One, increasing your cardio after lifting will help clear some of the lactic acid that's built up. But I also do this to keep my metabolism going for a while after the workout. This seems to be working really well for me. I've maintained the strength, I've maintained muscle mass, and I've lost a hell of a lot of body weight. So on the exercise bike, I warm up for 5 minutes, try to keep my cadence at 90 or above, which at first was a little bit uncomfortable, got used to it. And then what I do are 1 minute intervals. So set the machine resistance higher, keep the RPMs the same in the 90s, and then do 1 full minute that. Rest for 2 minutes, or at least until my heart rate's gotten back down to zone 2 or 75% or less. End up doing 5 of those in that 20-minute workout. So if you do the math, you take that 20 minutes times 3 times a week, that equates to 1 or about an hour's worth of relatively high intensity for any given week, which is also why when I'm out here on the bike, on the trails, it looks like I'm not really going that hard, because I'm not. I'm just out here enjoying this zone 2 ride, which is a secondary goal of getting about 5 or 6 hours of cardio per week, and then 3 sessions of lifting. The other side benefit of doing the intensity in the gym is that it's physically safer. So I've been able to do the 3 days in the gym, 3 days on the bike, pretty consistently since mid-February. I haven't really felt a lot of fatigue. So the last final tip, and this is really important, more important than I ever realized, is what you do with the rest of the day. And just because you worked out, just because you rode your bike for 2 hours, that doesn't mean you get to be a couch potato the rest of the day. And if you feel the need to lay on the couch But the whole rest of the day after, like Saturday morning or something, you might have done too much. So what I try to do is catch up on housework, maybe mow the lawn. Now that the weather's nicer, I'll actually walk to the gym instead of getting in the car. So anything that you can do to keep moving throughout the day will help keep your metabolism up and will keep your fat loss going. I think you'll be happier for it too. Nothing worse than sitting around in front of the screen, getting all this weird news that we have now. This workout plan is simple enough that anyone can do it. The machines that I'm using are very common, universal. If I didn't ride the bike, I would just walk. I would just take a half an hour each day and just go for a walk and try to keep my heart rate in the same similar zone that I am when I'm riding. I know after the surgery I'm going to have to do that for a while, so I'm starting the walking now, so my body is at least conditioned for doing it. I think that's it for now. Thanks so much for listening along. I hope this is beneficial for everybody out there. Love to hear your comments. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time.